monument. Can I say this? This looks like a memorial. If I saw someone's name on there, I'd be like, so sad. They were so young. You're dining in the void. In this video, you're in the void. Oh, who's the seating chart? I don't know. But the King of Shadows is sitting behind me. I'm scared. Here in New England, it's fall. And that means it's time for weddings. Everybody and your mother are getting married. I mean, if you're gonna get married and you live in New England, do it in fall. It's beautiful. The fall foliage, the weather is perfect. It hasn't been raining much because drought. That being said, I went to a wedding last weekend and it was beautiful. It had all of these wonderful personal touches from the bride and groom. It was incredibly well thought out. You could tell that they did a lot of things themselves in preparation for the wedding. They made the bouquets, they made all of like the little guest books. All of these things were handmade, hand done, not only to like save money, but also because it's beautiful and it gives this personal quality where it's like, I'm not just watching some people get married, I am watching this beautiful couple get married. We had a great time, and it got me thinking, because a woman likes to say that this is one of the most important days of her life. I mean, I argue the most important thing a woman can do is binding herself legally to a man. I don't know. I don't know about that. But I think it is like a beautiful, important day. I'm obviously just being a Scrooge. But it's not always this beautiful personal thing. Sometimes it's just about one thing. It's not love. No. It's about flaunting your wealth. We're gonna watch some absolutely ridiculous TikToks today. I'm so excited to get into it. Some of these, I was like getting ready and putting pictures and putting videos together to make this, and I was cackling so loud that my boyfriend came in from the other room and was like, what are you doing? Like, can I see what you're watching? I'm also gonna share that joy with you, and we're just gonna have a little chat about where our priorities lie. And remember, if this video is your kind of thing, like and subscribe. Before we get into it, don't send any of these people negative, mean, rude comments. Let's keep it civil. We are kind of punching up today, but I still like to give that disclaimer. Okay, this is the first video we're gonna look at. I literally typed into TikTok search bar weddings and this popped up, and I was like, if I walked into a wedding and this is what I saw, I would be scared. I would be scared. Okay. Like, what? And then the fog machine. And like, what does this have to do with the wedding? I imagine when the guests are going home, they're gonna be like, by the way, what the heck was up with those flower ladies? They're just like, wait, do I care to do an interpretive dance? Oh my god. Like, get your bag, girl. Like, to these dancing flower ladies, you're eating it up. But what the hell, I would not ever choose to... I was like, okay, now I know this is a rabbit hole worth going down. And that's one of these things, is so many of these, like, rich people weddings, everything is, like, for the pics. It feels so void. I can't tell anything about these people by looking at this other than they've got money, which is not necessarily indicative of a happy life, a long, prosperous marriage. Isn't there like a statistic that like the more expensive the rock, the more likely you are to break it off? I'm gonna need to fact check myself there, but there's all these glamorous, beautiful entrances, and it's all for the pictures and social media. And at the end of the day, people are gonna remember this because it's one of the most extravagant things I'd ever seen. I'd hope they remember it for how much these people have probably spent on it. But you know what makes a good wedding? Not how picturesque it is, it's how much fun you have and how much the couple loves each other. And it's about who you're surrounded by, which is family and loved ones, celebrating family and loved ones. But it's these bizarre, like, totally vapid weddings that I just don't understand. Like, here's another video with 3 ladies in a hallway. There's a weird commonality between all of this. You know, these really, it's very tasteful. I was gonna say minimalist, but that is not minimalist. You know, it's very artfully decorated, but you're dining in the void. In this video, you're in the void. Oh, who's the seating chart? I don't know, but the King of Shadows is sitting behind me. I'm scared. What's the King of the Shadows? I don't know. This one was posted in August. I imagine under all of that glass, you're cooking. You're cooking. She's beautiful. This is one of the chiller videos I'm going to show you today, believe it or not. But in the August heat, I'm cooking in a literal greenhouse. The windows are open. You can see that. But still, the sun beating down on you, there's like no overhead shade. I'd cook. I'd cook in August. Dear God. And then there's like weird stuff like this. This is like AI generated. Like, this is obviously... But here's another example of beautiful, you know, there's a stage, it looks like the Grammys. But for one night, all those florals, that's what we're going to talk about next, is like the pure amount of waste some of these events generate. Because after you buy all these flowers and they're hung from the ceiling and they're draped over literally everything, where do they go? You know, some of the wedding guests take some home. They last a week, maybe. And most of them, those archways, all this kind of stuff, assuming they're real florals, which a lot of times, especially with these rich people, it is, like, it's going in a landfill along with so much of stuff that's either not reusable or they bought it for the wedding. A lot of places like this, like, you rent everything, but still, like, the amount of waste it generates is crazy. And in all of these videos, these like extravagant florals is a big through line, which I cannot blame you. 1, it probably smells amazing. 2, it is very beautiful. Florals are something beautiful. However, that was one thing at the wedding I just went to. At the end of the night, you know, I'm there helping pack up. I'm there watching the guys pack up, standing by, saying, "You've got this," you know, eating the snacks that were left over. And so many people didn't take their florals because they were staying at like one of the campsites nearby, you know, like cabins and stuff. So many of these beautiful florals just got packed up or thrown away. That's so sad. I can't imagine how much they cost, like, and they're beautiful. I don't know. It just makes me sad. Let's watch someone break down the cost for one of these weddings with these big, beautiful floral budgets. What do you think it is? What do you think the budget is for these flowers? $5,000? $10,000? $20,000?
This is what $30,000 worth of flowers looks like. My best friend got married this past weekend, and while the venue was gorgeous, it was really brought to life with the flowers. The wedding was held in Mexico City, and so I can't even imagine what it would cost in the States. There were many different rooms at this venue, and each of them had a for the flowers, and they just kept on giving. This is the dining area where we all had dinner, and you can see the centerpieces are absolutely gorgeous. The boys were eventually given some boutonnieres, and of course we had bouquets for both the bride and the bridesmaids. Another perk of all these flowers is that it smelled so good in every room you went into. After the dinner and reception, there was eventually an after party where some of the floral arrangements were converted into hanging disco balls.
$30,000. And like she said, one, it's not in the States. Two, it's in Mexico City. Nobody is taking any of these bouquets home, you know? TSA is gonna be like, no, you can't. Like, you can't get plants like this through the airport. So it's not like anybody's even taking home these florals. $30,000 for all of these flowers hanging from the ceiling just for this one event. And then you're never going to see any of them ever again except for in pictures. And, like, I have a lot of understanding because I know, like, hopefully, we all hope, you only get married once, and it's the only excuse you're ever gonna have to have everybody you love in the same space celebrating you. You know, all of your extended family, all of your friends celebrating you and your love. That's beautiful. I understand, like, wanting to have pretty pictures, but I really don't. I would hate to generate this much waste and, like, have to pack all of this stuff up and have to move it. And I understand, like, renting stuff is expensive and you can't really rent florals, but that's just the thing is, like, that's so sad. I don't know. There has to be a different way or, like, a better way. My guess is the best way is to keep it modest. Here is another example of, like, these extravagant florals. One, if you scroll back, let's go back. We're going back. Look at the beautiful ceiling. The beautiful ceiling. Like, painted ceiling that they're covering up. Criminal. Why have it in this venue if you're going to cover up that beautiful ceiling? Number one ceiling fan right here. It says it itself, thousands of flowers. And it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. Oh my God. All of that is going to get thrown away. Those flowers had to be watered and taken care of and then hung by experts. And then they get thrown away. It's so sad to me. I don't know. I just love Mother Nature. That's my bad. And, you know, I say it's better to be minimalist, but there's such a thing as stripping it back too far. You're gonna love this. Okay. Look at this. Everyone's wearing black like it's a funeral. The chairs, it looks like a fashion show. Like, I look like if you hadn't had the caption coolest wedding if you didn't have the caption of the coolest wedding ceremony, I would think you're going to a fashion show. Like, that's what this is giving. And I just think that's a bit odd. Once again, it's definitely unique and beautiful. I think I would pick the Void. I think I'd pick the King of the Fog over this one. Whatever I said before. But, you know, this event isn't about the venue. It's about the bride and groom. And the bride. And the bride. I could spend a ridiculous amount of time watching this video because I watched it and I cried. Tears of pure joy. Pure joy. I was so elated because I've never seen anything funnier in my entire life. If I'm ever this rich that I pull something like this and I'm like, I ate. Have mercy on me. Have mercy on me. Girl, get down from there. One, there's like weird lampshades in the crowd. What was that about? Two, I can imagine. I wonder if I can like find a way to edit this. Sorry, editing Nikki, if you're like wanting to punch me in the face right now. But like this is what I imagine in my brain of like her, and then she has like two very long legs. And also like, I don't know, like the most emotional part of the ceremony, other than them reading their vows, is like seeing the bride walk down in like her beautiful dress, accompanied by her father. Like, I understand like wanting to make an extra entrance, but like, what is this? This is so silly. I am gonna show you now a video of somebody breaking down the cost of one of these like luxury, really fancy weddings. It is going to boggle your mind. Okay, this is a redo. This BL events posted this wedding breakdown budget. Let's go.
Married recently, and she had a pretty extravagant wedding.
We put out this video a month ago, and now that we have a lot more photo and video, we can confidently say that we severely underestimated the florals budget of this wedding. If you haven't watched the original video, originally we estimated that Maddie Pruitt's wedding cost about $800,000, and now that we have their full wedding video and a lot more
Sorry, I had to catch my breath for a minute.
detailed photos, we actually think that this whole wedding cost between $1 million and $1.5 million. And a lot of that difference is the florals budget. So let's do a re-estimate budget breakdown of Maddie Pruitt's wedding. This was their ceremony setup, and they had this arrangement on their gate that was a mix of florals and greenery, and we're estimating about $2,000 for that. They had 6 of these urns. There were 2 more inside of the gate, and each one was probably about $1,500, so $9,000 total. These aisle florals were a super significant expense. Total to cover this entire aisle would be about $50,000. The arch was also extremely lush, and that would be about $10,000. They also did a petal toss at the end of their ceremony, and for about 300 guests, that would be about $2,000 for each guest to have petals. This seating chart is super extravagant, and it would have had to be custom built.
It looks like a monolith. Looks like a monument. Can I say this? This looks like a memorial. If I saw someone's name on there, I'd be like, so sad. They were so young. That does not look like a seating chart.
Custom wrapped and custom painted. And we're gonna estimate $30,000 for this. So we're just going to estimate $5,000 for the cocktail hour florals. Now the reception. We counted about 20 of these tall arrangements and about 15 small arrangements. So that would come to about $30,000. And for each small arrangement, we're estimating $1,000, so $15,000 total. Also had this really big arrangement over the dance floor, and that would be about $15,000. They had these extensive box flower arrangements all along the dance floor, and this dance floor arrangement probably cost about $12,000. Total for those 8 box floral arrangements around the tent would be about $70,000. Lastly, their head table had this extensive floral runner. Total, including this runoff on the side, there's about 30 feet of lush florals going on here, so we're going to estimate $15,000. After you include design and labor fee and taxes, you're looking at about $350,000 total for these florals.
I definitely cut some of that for time and for conciseness sake. Conciseness. Is that a word? Did those numbers make you want to throw up? I'm singing because I'm at a loss for words. This is crazy. Some of the comments, it just doesn't look that much prettier than a much cheaper wedding, does it? Do I just not have taste? That's what I'm wondering. Is I'm like, am I just broke, or am I like silly? Because once again, like, none of this says anything to me about these people. Pure white florals everywhere on like gold or silver, whatever, freaking metal, whatever. Like everywhere is your entire motif. Where's the zhuzh? Where's the personality? Given rich people don't need to have personalities because they have money. But still, like, I don't know anything about these people. You know, I don't know their likes, their dislikes. And I think a good wedding is personal. You know, there's nothing personal about this vapid sea of white flowers. And like, again, it looks like so many people are wearing black. What's with the, what is this dress code, you know? I just don't understand it. More comments. I literally can't even imagine how it would be to be so rich. You have a wedding budget of $1 million. The way I would have been physically sick if I spent $20K, let alone that. She can't even say like $1 million. Me neither. Someone else said, I'm sorry, the Stonehenge seating chart sends me. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, and once again, that seating chart, thrown away after. All those florals, thrown away after. That shit cannot be reused. Once again, like, maybe this is over-exaggerating because a lot of this could have been rented, you know. But not the florals, not that seating chart. What? The monolith. These crazy things are so unrealistic to the average person. I just thought They were so ridiculous. It's like this little peep into this other world that normally we don't get to see, and that's these rich, beautiful young people having the most expensive night of their lives, probably, other than their divorces. Is that too far? I wouldn't wish that on anyone. Moral of the story is, love is beautiful. These weddings are beautiful. They are also weird. I think you're weird if you spend this much money on anything. What was your wedding budget, if you feel comfortable disclosing that? If not, what was something you did to your wedding to make it more personal? If you're not married, like me, what is something you would like to have at your wedding? Something you would like to do, some decorations you would like to have that maybe bring a bit more, what's that word? Personality into things. I hope you had a beautiful day. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you liked my nails. I painted them orange. Next time you see me, I'll be dressed up for Halloween. If you want to guess what it is, it's a couple's costume with me and my boyfriend, and it's horror video game related. That's all I'll say. That's your hint. I hope you had a beautiful day. Bye bye.